Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall, but you may call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. A gaggle of stories, we're covering today. Another Florida story. We had a Florida story yesterday, a Florida man story, and Florida just keeps popping up in the news. What else? What country? And this is a question. You can answer it in the chat if you want to. What country is rated most likely to survive the apocalypse? If there is one country that you could go to survive disaster, and this is a study. So which country do you think it is? In the eve of disaster, you get a choice to go to one country. What country would it be? If you've already know the story, don't put it in the comment section, please. This is fun. It's supposed to be fun, right? The apocalypse can be fun. So once again, which country most likely, most desirable to go to in case the apocalypse occurs? When the apocalypse occurs? All right, when the apocalypse occurs. Pfizer, booster shot, new data coming in. We'll talk about that. And cops, a case of not just one, but two cops getting arrested for being dicks. And that's what police reform really looks like, everyone, at a certain level. The cops who do bad things are gonna get arrested. And as Martha Stewart would say, that's a good thing. I have Martha on the mind because I wrote a little satirical piece about her on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief, that she embraces nihilism with open arms. But let's do something funny, right? You want to do something funny? It's going to be a lot of cats today in these little quick videos I'm going to show you. Here's one. Awesome. Let's see who's in the chat this morning. If you're watching on Facebook, you're going to see I'm going to be interacting with people at least people in the chat that I can see. I don't see everyone's comments. So if you want to engage with us in the chat, head over to the Laughing in Disbelief YouTube channel and chat away in the chat. So who's here this morning? Sweden. Oh, Robert X. That is a good guess, sir. Robert X, favorite X-Man right there, or X-person. That is a good guess. What's up, Blazing? Good morning, Americats. It's good morning for me so far. Tobin Templeman's in the house. Churches are like fascist factories. Yeah. Scott Duke, good morning. Iceland. Oh, Blazing Wizard Pope. That is on the list, sir. Because not only, and this is a Guardian article, not only is the top country listed, but they do like the top 5, and Iceland is in the top 5, though it is not the best country to flee to in case of the apocalypse. But that's a good guess. Let's simply Secular Dave. You know, Dave, I just want to let you know something. It's not Canada. My girlfriend and I, we were watching. Well, she was watching the Olympics, and I was working on this show last night. And I did it, Dave. I got her to say Canada as against to Canada, completely not prompted. Canada. I get enough people calling Canada Canada. The dictionary is going to say it's Canada. That's my goal, long-term goal. It is not Canada, though. It is not Canada, the number one country to flee to in case of when the apocalypse happens. It is not. Dark Cruise. The girlfriend. Tesla Ranger. Hope you're doing well, Tesla. And did I get everyone? Ninja Cat. That's right, Delvin. All right. I think Tesla Ranger. Is the U.S. one of the least likely places to survive because it's probably one of the countries most likely to be targeted. Oh, that's good. That's a good point, Tesla Ranger. All right, we'll get to that story, everyone, later on today. We'll get to that story. All right, so memes. Are we going to do memes? Let's do some memes before actually getting into our Florida story. This is near and dear to my heart. Oh, should I do announcements? It's right here. It's right here on my list of things to talk about. I'm going to be on Faith Not Required. That's on the Tang Network tonight with Reverend Brother Heathen, Jimmy Lou, and Skids the Clown. That is at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about Christian fascism. We're going to talk about comedy. We're going to have some laughs. Yes, we're going to have some laughs. That's the most important thing, in a comedy show, is to actually have some laughs, right? Isn't that true? So I'm going to be on that show, Faith Not Required, 9 p.m. tonight on the Tang Network, on the Tang channel, right? Cool. All right. So first meme. Here it is from our friend John Oliver. 1 in 4 Americans, I can't do a John Oliver voice, I'm sorry. And I'm not going to try to do a British accent either. 1 in 4 Americans is skeptical about climate change. Who gives a shit? That doesn't matter. You don't need people's opinions on a fact. You might as well have a poll asking which number is bigger, 5 or 15, or do owls exist? Or are there hats? Well said, John Oliver. Unfortunately, those people vote. People who don't believe in hats, who don't know what number is bigger, 5 or 16. That's when when things come down to brass tacks, to pragmatics. Unfortunately, it does matter if people don't know which number is bigger. All right. My mother was a virgin when she gave birth to me. This is a classic meme, everyone. Totes. That's why 3 random dudes showed up at your birth with gifts. LOL. Jesus is like, fuck you. I don't know if who's that supposed to be. Peter? I don't know. But that's Jesus dropping the F-bomb right there. Inappropriate, Jesus. That's against Facebook's community standards. Jesus would get canceled. And the last meme. If dinosaurs were so dumb, explain to me how they had the foresight to die off before the Kardashians had a TV show. Oh, well said, Tim. Bad banana. If dinosaurs were so dumb, explain to me how they had the foresight to die off before the Kardashians had a TV show. Is that a logical fallacy? Yeah, maybe. It still can be true, though. Check out the chat one more time before getting into the Florida story. Oh, it's a Florida and COVID story, right? You kind of guessed that microphone. My microphone's here is going. Yes, I suspected that it would be a COVID story coming from Florida. You're right. But let's first check out the chat. Oh, Jessi Bear's here. Wow. Yeah, Jessi. I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you for a while. Canada. It's Canada. That's what it is. All right. So let's do this thing about Florida. Oh, wrong buttons. I'm hitting wrong buttons this morning. All right. Links are in the description, everyone. Links are in the description. Florida County, that's home to Disney World, declares a state of emergency over surge in the Delta variant. I am shocked that in Governor Ron DeSantis' state in Florida, that there would be an incredible upsurge of coronavirus infections in the county where Disney World, which seems to be a nexus point where people converge to infect each other. I am surprised and shocked at this piece of information. Let's check out the story. The central Florida county that is home to Disney World and 1.3 million people is now in a state of emergency after experiencing the largest single-day number of COVID-19 cases since the pandemic began. So it's officially in a state of emergency. So what does that mean? Does that mean people have to stay home? Does that mean everyone has to wear a mask? There's a mask mandate? I wouldn't be betting. The smart money is not on Florida doing the smart thing, everyone. Orange County Mayor Jerry L. Deming signed an executive order on Wednesday declaring the emergency, which could be the first step toward issuing a new mask mandate. For now, though, face coverings are only being encouraged as part of an effort to avoid another shutdown. I urge our residents and visitors, vaccinated and unvaccinated, to wear a mask while indoors, Deming said in a statement. To tell you the truth, the girlfriend and I are planning to go actually on vacation, right? Does Andy ever go on vacation? Occasionally. It doesn't happen that often. But we're going down to Pennsylvania in a couple of weeks. And I haven't looked at the COVID numbers down there. But it's like, do I have to leave New England? New England seems like a pretty safe place. I certainly wouldn't go down to Florida. Danger. According to the executive order, the 14-day positive test rate in Orange County is now more than 15%, up from less than 4.3% at the end of June. Approximately 1,371 people tested positive on July 27th, a record high. Wastewater monitoring indicates that there has been a substantial increase in COVID-19 amid the spread of the more contagious Delta variant. Just over half of Orange County's population, or 52.6%, has been fully vaccinated, according to data collected by the Democrat and Chronicle newspaper. The national vaccination rate is 49.4%. So there's a state of emergency, but you still don't have to put on your masks. There's an emergency, but you don't have to stay home. What does the emergency mean? So it isn't actually an emergency declaration. It's more like a pre-emergency declaration, or an emergency declaration which really doesn't do anything. But isn't that what you would expect out of Florida? I think that's what you would expect out of Florida. And if you're living in any of these high contagion states where there's low vaccination rates, or that the Delta variant is just raging, yeah, follow the CDC guidelines and just wear a mask indoors. And maybe even if you're not, maybe you're just living in one of the relatively safe havens, like Massachusetts or Vermont, probably it's a wise idea to put on a mask anyway, even if you're vaccinated, right? You don't want to break through infection. Checking out the chat. It's the Magic Kingdom. That's right, Dr. Mordecai. It is the Magic Kingdom. Magic COVID. Well, Disney World deserves to be its own country. It does. You're right about that. And if you've ever I've been to Disney World maybe a handful of times, and they love telling you that Disneyland can fit in Disney World's parking lot. There's some beef there between Disney World and Disneyland, I think. Oh, Biscuit is curious about why Andy's voice is coming from the phone. Interesting. All right. Let's do the next story. Should we do a video? We have gone maybe about 13 minutes in the show. We haven't said anything about crazy evangelical fascists against COVID. And I want to apologize for that, everyone. I have a special video to share with you. And what's the name of that video? I'm glad you asked. It is, drum roll, please. This is from Right Wing Watch News. Dave, or Coach Dave, says Dr. Fauci is an emissary of the devil. An emissary of the devil. Is that true? Well, we have to ask Coach Dave to find out.
Friends, as it was in the day of Noah, so shall be the coming of Son of Man. And if Dr. Sherry Tenpenny was here, what would she tell us? That this jab is mixing and melting and working and screwing up your DNA. The same thing that was going on before the days of Noah. The exact same thing. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be the coming of the Son of Man. Dr. Fauci is an emissary of the devil, folks. Not just the devil that you see on Halloween, not just a guy who dressed up in a suit. He is an emissary of Beelzebub himself, sent to deceive and destroy the seed of Christ.
Well, if that isn't a slap of stupid to get your morning going, I don't know what is. Wow. Dr. Anthony Fauci is the emissary of the devil. And what does that mean? This is the same thing that was happening before in Noah's time. Like, people were getting the jab in Noah's time. People had mRNA vaccines back in Noah's time. So confusing, so much word salad by one person. That guy's a lunatic. All right, so great. The comments aren't loading. Now they're loading. Fantastic. Yeah. Robert X says, before the days of Noah, well, he looks like he was there at the time. Indeed. Dr. Osiris, glad to see that you're here this morning, sir. Coach Dave spilled some hot sauce in his boxers, I think. Well said, Dave. That could be. Yeah. Well, what's insane is that people are there. Fans of his are there going, yeah, he's right. I read it in Genesis somewhere that Dr. Anthony Fauci was there in the days of Noah telling people they should be inoculated against, I don't know, COVID, right? Just like in the days of Noah. It just shows you that with some fan bases, the only thing you have to do is yell into the camera and they'll be like, yeah, give us more. I'm not sure, Dr. Osiris. I think he might have been the guy who said he would eat his neighbor in the apocalypse, right? There was I think that was the same guy. Oh, that was Alex Jones. Thank you, Tesla Ranger. See, this is what's so great, having intelligent and informed people in the chat. Alex Jones, yes, Alex Jones would eat his neighbors in case times got too rough. All right. Next story. What are we doing here? Okay, so I asked a question earlier, in case you're just tuning in. Which country was named number one in case of a that one country that the apocalypse is now upon us that you could flee to and be relatively safe? What country is rated most likely to survive disaster on a global scale? This is a new report that came out, and let's take a look. Some people made some good choice and good guesses. Iceland, Sweden, Canada, all of those are good guesses. But when I say the name of the country, you'll be like, yeah, I can see that happening. When you look at how well they performed and continue to perform in the COVID-19 apocalypse, it's pretty. You're not going to be surprised. It's an obvious choice here. Drum roll, please. Horrible special effects on this show, everyone. There's nothing special about these effects. Here we go. New Zealand rated best place to survive global societal collapse. Study citing perilous state of industrial civilization ranks temperate islands top for resilience. All right. So funny that this story would come up. I was talking with a girlfriend last night because we talk every once in a while, right? We talk every once in a while. And I'm like, we're just watching news about about the global climate crisis, about COVID-19, political deadlock in certain countries. And I go, well, this is how, societies implode. This is, it isn't just one blow, that one factor that causes societies to implode. Typically, there are many factors that happen to converge at the same time. And then I saw this story in The Guardian. I believe it's The Guardian. Link to the links in the description, everyone. Links in the description. Did anyone guess New Zealand? Did anyone think, or maybe so? I'm gonna check out the chat one more time before going in there. Well, this is true, Jessi Bear. Being an island is very helpful for them with stopping the spread, plus legit lockdowns. True enough. You're right. Congratulations, Jessi Bear, in all the hobbit holes. That's right, Tesla Ranger. There's actually billionaires. We're going to get to it in the story, but there are billionaires building big hobbit holes in New Zealand. Terry Beebe. I'm going to pronounce it Beebe. It might be baby. I don't know. I'm going to go with Beebe. All right. And Finland's a good choice, too, though I always thought that Finland's a little bit too close to the Russian Federation, to tell you the truth. That would be a little bit close for me. All right. Let's get into the story about how New Zealand is ranked number 1 in places. If you want to survive the apocalypse, go to New Zealand. New Zealand, Iceland, the UK, Tasmania, and Ireland are the places best suited to survive a global collapse of society, according to a study. The researchers said human civilization was in a perilous state due to the highly interconnected and energy-intensive society that had developed and the environmental damage this has caused. A collapse could arise from shocks such as severe financial crisis, the impacts of the climate crisis, destruction of nature, and even worse pandemic than COVID-19, or a combination of these, scientists said. To assess which nations would be most resilient to such a collapse, countries were ranked according to their ability to grow food for their population, protect their borders from unwanted mass migration, and maintain an electrical grid and some manufacturing ability. Islands in temperate regions, and mostly with low population densities, came out on top. No, this is not the time to talk about the potato famine in Ireland. This is not the time, or the corn laws. This is not the time for digression, microphone. We're going to keep to this story. The researchers said their study highlighted the factors that nations must improve to increase resilience. They said that a globalized society that prized economic efficiency damaged resilience, and that spare capacity needed to exist in food and other vital sectors. Billionaires have been, so follow the money. You should just need to follow the money and see what the billionaires are doing in terms of where they think. They're voting with their feet and with their cash dollars about where they think the safest place on earth is. And they're going to New Zealand, or they're building in New Zealand, buying New Zealand. Billionaires have been reported to be buying land for bunkers in New Zealand in preparation for an apocalypse. We weren't surprised New Zealand was on our list, said Professor Ala Jones at the Global Sustainability Institute at Anglia Ruskin University in the UK. The study, published in the Journal of Sustainability, said the globe-spanning, energy-intensive industrial civilization that characterizes the modern era represents an anomalous situation when it is considered against the majority of human history. Well, that's obvious, right? Most of our history has been on the savannah. The study also said that due to environmental destruction, limited resources, and population growth, the academic literature paints a picture of human civilization that is in a perilous state, with large and growing risks developing in multiple spheres of the human endeavor. The wolves are gathering at the door, and at the back door, and at the windows too. New Zealand was found to have the greatest potential to survive relatively unscathed due to its geothermal and hydroelectric energy, abundant agricultural land, and low population density. I think I should be, maybe New Zealand should be paying people not to talk about this study, right? If I was the nation of New Zealand, I would not want people to know that New Zealand is a safe haven. Just because it probably wouldn't be a safe haven anymore if a lot of people went there. All right, going to check out the chat. Ireland does have beer. Yeah, Ireland does have beer. Oh, this is the most important question of all. I'm talking about what country you want to move to in the apocalypse, and I agree with Dr. Mordecai on this. Is there weed in Ireland? There you go. Yes, Tesla Ranger. Zeeland is located just northwest of this Belgian city of Antwerp. Old Zealand, as against to New Zealand. All right. I think I got everything. And Glenn mentioning our previous video that we showed about Coach Dave. Watching Dave at double speed makes him sound more ridiculous, much more funny. I can see that. I can see that. All right. What are we doing, everyone? What have we done? What are we doing? What will we do? I can tell you that we've already covered 3 stories. I can tell you right now that this is the halftime tummy rub show, where I should be asking people to like the video. Like the video in case you found some kind of value on this. If you've learned something or had a chuckle or distracted yourself from whatever's going on, whatever you need distractibility from, please like the video. And hey, if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be pretty awesome too. You will notice no ads. No ads. Completely funded by YouTube members and patrons. Thank you very much. And, we should do, I know I said I would do a lot of cat videos today on the show, but 2 out of 3, we're going to have cats. This one might be canine related.
No, go lay down. Look what you did. Yeah.
I think the dog still had his arms, his little paws there, or his big paws there, just in case he was going to put his head through the hole again. Oh, dogs. 8 out of 10, I think, yes. 8 out of 10 cats. That's what and I also run, of course, a Facebook page and group called Cats too, which I enjoy quite a bit. Oh, your dog said that she liked this one. Very good. All right. What are we going to do? What should we do next, everyone? 2 stories. I'm going to let you choose. First person to comment on which story we should do first. I'll go with that. So we can either talk about the Pfizer vaccine, about the 3rd shot. There's some new data coming in on that, about a booster shot. Well, we can talk about cops going to jail in Colorado. So that's your choice. Which story do you want to hear first? Cops going to jail or about the Pfizer booster shot? Geez, microphone, whenever I say cops going to jail, I want to start talking about cops going to jail. I think I'm going to talk about cops. Yeah, Scott Duke. You know where my heart is. You know where my heart is. It's about cops going to jail. I'm sorry. Scott Duke got there first. Don't worry. We'll get to the booster shot. And we'll also talk about the Arkansas governor heckled for trying to talk science talk. But let's talk about cops going to jail. That just makes me feel good inside, to tell you the truth. Colorado officer arrested for threatening to shoot suspect during stop. Not just one cop, though. 2 cops arrested. Link is in the description if you want to see the whole story. But let's go to the next panel. A Colorado police officer has been arrested after being filmed threatening to kill a man during an arrest. Body camera footage shows Aurora policeman John Hobart using a pistol to strike the man, saying, "If you move, I will shoot you." The arrest comes amid intense scrutiny of police misconduct in the U.S. following the 2020 death of George Floyd, which sparked national protests. A 2nd officer has been arrested for failing to stop Mr. Hobart. You read that right. It appears in Colorado, if you're a cop and if you see a cop breaking the law, and if you don't do anything about it, you're going to get fucking arrested too. How does that not make you feel good, microphone, chat, observers, watchers, lurkers? How does that not make you feel good? That if you're a cop watching another cop doing something illegal, then if you don't stop them, then you will get arrested. Oh, that's beautiful. Footage played for the press on Tuesday shows Mr. Harbert repeatedly saying, "Stop fighting," as a man tells him, "I can't breathe and you're killing me." I've heard that before. Too many times. The man who is being arrested on suspicion of trespassing was admitted to the hospital following the incident. According to an arrest warrant, Mr. Harbert is now being investigated on various possible charges, including assault and threatening with a deadly weapon. The second officer, Francine Martinez, faces charges for not trying to stop Mr. Harbert's use of force. Both officers have reportedly turned themselves in. For years, Aurora's police department has faced allegations of misconduct, including the death of a man during an arrest in 2019. This is the gravy. I know you're all wanting to have some of the gravy, so this is the gravy. As part of a new accountability law, Colorado police officers are required to step in when they witness incidents of misconduct or excessive use of force. Oh, that's justice gravy right there, everyone. A bill passed by Colorado's legislature last year bars police from using deadly force against suspects unless they are facing imminent danger from a weapon. Additionally, the law bans chokeholds and removes. Oh yeah, this is beautiful, and removes the qualified immunity legal protection for officers, potentially exposing them to lawsuits. By 2023, all police officers in the state are required to wear body cameras. Wow. I don't even know how to. Is this joy that I'm feeling? I'm so confused. I don't know how to respond, to tell you the truth. We cover so many horrible stories on this channel on a daily basis, but this is a bright, shining ray of light. It's beautiful, everyone. Take a moment and just bathe in it. Hey, John Hudson. Glad to see that you're here. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. That's right. And lock them up, Jessi Bear. Just lock them up. Lock them up. Well, you're going to be hearing a lot about the thin blue line, right? You're going to be hearing a lot about that, I'm sure, from Fox News over the next couple of days. Wow. John Hudson, just reading this about one of my dogs started eating the lattice on my deck. I think she was trying to get to the squirrels to hang out there. Yeah, dogs can do that, right? They can be pretty motivated. Dogs can be motivated. Oh, well, thank you, Robert X, for asking people to like, share, and subscribe. And hit the bell. Well, yeah, I never ask people to hit the bell. Maybe, because if you subscribe and if you don't hit the bell, then you won't get notified every single time I go on. But, thank you. I should just say thank you. Thank you for doing that. Scott Duke points out maybe now bullies won't try to join the police force. That would be nice, right? Having non-sociopaths be on the police, be police officers. That would be great. All right. Yeah, I'm happy with that story, everyone. And I'm glad that we did that first. Back into the maelstrom, right? Of COVIDiots, Republicans. Now, we know that some Republicans have been trying to pivot on the vaccine and trying to make sense, talk science to their fan base, to their political base, with mixed results. I'm going to show you a video of Arkansas governor getting heckled. Let me just hit the right. Arkansas governor heckled after explaining there is zero evidence COVID vaccines cause infertility. People felt, the COVIDiots felt very strong about this, everyone. They have their feels. They have their thoughts. Check it out.
The best answer is not me best answer is go into a trusted advisor. Usually that is your doctor. Usually it's your healthcare professional. And if you have questions, get those questions answered. And that, to me, is the best solution. Sometimes they have questions, young people do, for example, about, does this impact fertility? Well, the
Here it
answer
comes.
is no, and that's been the data. But hey, Dr. Delahaye, do you want to answer that? Since I raised the question, go ahead.
So at this point in time,
Why don't you come over here to the microphone?
so at this point in time, there is no evidence that the COVID.
All right, so go ahead, Dr. Delahaye.
So there is no.
Go ahead, Dr. Delahaye.
So there is no medical evidence at this time that the COVID vaccines impact fertility. There is a great deal of evidence that the COVID illness itself causes problems with pregnancy and fetal demise. So I think it's important for people to have factual, accurate information.
Oh, Republicans. And it's funny. I feel that the governor of Arkansas has kind of stumbled into the COVID doesn't cause infertility. And once he realized he had put his foot in it, he was more than happy to throw the doctor under the bus. It's like, how about you deal with this angry mob, doctor? There's a comment. Why don't you deal with this angry mob, comma, doctor? That's it, right? Oh, yes. So trying to reason with people once you've been once again feeding the engine of anti-science stupidity for decades, this is what you expect. This is totally predictable. And once again, Republicans feeding the fires of anti-science for decades. What would you expect? What kind of, gunk in, gunk out, right? Shit schools equals people who don't understand science. All right. What's the last story that we're doing today? Oh, we're going to talk about the Pfizer vaccine, about new data coming out, about hopeful data. Is it peer-reviewed data yet? No, but this is early data, right? That will hopefully be peer-reviewed soon so that we get to find out what's going on about the Pfizer data suggesting third dose of COVID-19 vaccine strongly boosts protection against the Delta variant. Once again, the links to all the stories are in the description, everyone. CNN, third dose of Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine can strongly boost protection against the Delta variant beyond the protection afforded by standard 2 doses. New data released by Pfizer on Wednesday suggests. The data posted online suggests that levels of antibodies that can target the Delta variant grow fivefold in people 18 to 55 who get a third dose of the vaccine. Well, that sounds pretty fivefold. I like that. I like those numbers. Among people ages 65 to 85, the Pfizer data suggests that antibody levels that should protect against Delta grow 11-fold more than following a second dose. 11-fold. That's a lot. The data which involved tests. Oh, see, now this is where we should feel sad. The data which involves tests of 23 people have not yet been peer reviewed or published. So, hopeful, guarded optimism here. Guarded optimism. It's not clear if boosted antibody levels actually correlate with better protection, or if that extra protection is even needed. See, now that's bullshit. If extra protection is even needed. The U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention say the current vaccines protect people well against the common variants. Yeah, well, here it is. If and here's the stress response right here, right? This is I'm just trying to, make the vein, maybe the growing tumor, massage it a little bit. See, the thing is, if you're living in Arkansas, Mississippi, any of these red states, Arkansas, if you just went to Disney World and if you're vaccinated and surrounded by a bunch of idiots who aren't vaccinated, then yeah, you have a greater chance of having a breakthrough infection. So yeah, if I was already vaccinated and living in those states, I would want a booster shot if it was available, if it was proven to work, if there was peer-reviewed data. Of course, there isn't peer-reviewed data right now, but once again, evidence points in that direction, and hopefully we'll see something definite coming out soon about it. I'm going to check out the chat. Assuming that the chat loads. Thank you, StreamYard. Never really doing the things I wanted to do. B, glad to see that you're here, B. Glad to see that you're here. Well, yes, Tesla Ranger. That's what gave me the sads. Only 23 people. Very, yeah. Once again, it has to be peer-reviewed. Once again, it has to be replicated. But what's the important thing? The important thing is that the process is going on, hopefully before the winter comes, before everyone's locked in again or not going outside. Hopefully we'll have something, maybe a booster shot. I'd be happy with a booster shot. Glenn Chesterton, talking about Arkansas. What do you expect from a state where their population's family tree doesn't branch? Well, yeah. I hear what you're saying. I hear the frustration, Glenn. I hear the frustration. Oh, yes. Good morning. Yes, it's so far so good. It's been a pretty good morning so far. Well, this is right, Jessi Bear. High-risk people should receive the booster first, right? If it is proven effective indeed. I am awake. Glad to see that you're awake, Grant Farmer. Glad to see that you're here. No shit, John Hudson. I'm sorry to hear that. I've been on strict lockdown for over a year, started a job on Monday, and now you're sick. Wow. That sucks, dude. I'm sorry to, yeah, that is, that's bad. Hopefully it's just, a cold or something. I don't know. What are the stories that we did today, everyone? Florida. It's a small world after all. COVID will wreck it all. Yes. That's my horrible rendition of It's a Small, Small World. It's a small, small COVID world. And the county that houses, that's a weird choice of words, Andy. Disney World, incredible spike in infections. There's a emergency edict signed. What does it do? Really nothing. It just suggests people not to be dicks, to put on masks, to be careful, to be cautious. So it's not really an emergency edict. New Zealand ranks the best place to flee to in case of a global disaster. New Zealand, other countries, Iceland, the UK. I know, I was surprised about the UK too, but there are reasons why. The UK was listed as a place to flee to, which is in the article. Ireland, Tasmania too. I keep trying to convince my girlfriend that we should go to Tasmania. That would be my choice to flee to, because Tasmania is off the grid. I mean, no one knows about very few people know about Tasmania, right? Everyone knows about New Zealand, and New Zealand is the obvious place people go to. I want to go to the non-obvious place. For me, that would be Tasmania. Let's see, what other stories? Pfizer, the booster shot, maybe. Hopeful early findings about getting a booster shot. And 2 cops in Colorado arrested for inappropriate use of force on someone who was trespassing. They were using deadly force or threatening deadly force, implementing deadly force against someone who was trespassing or possibly trespassing. Those 2 cops have been arrested. And if you're just tuning in, check out that part of the video of this show about the cops getting arrested. It's beautiful what Colorado's doing. Or you check out the story. the full story in the links below. All right. Oh, we're doing the after party after show today. This is Thursday, so I can only do the show, the after party after show, which is an open room for, atheists, progressives, humanists. The link is in the description if you want to be on the panel. The show is only going to go from 10 to 10:30 today because I have to go into work early, right? And I'd like to see the camera footage from that encounter with the Colorado cops. So would I, Scott, dude. So would I. I'm sure it's somewhere on YouTube. So once again, 10 a.m., we're doing the after party after show. If you want to come on, you're invited. What did we talk about yesterday? We talked about a bunch of things. One of them being about men faking orgasms. Yeah, right? That was one of the many topics we talked about. What do we talk about? We talk about men faking orgasms, skepticism, our everyday lives. All kind. It's a hodgepodge of topics, to tell you the truth. It's a hodgepodge of topics. So thank you once again. Thank you for liking. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for contributing to the chat, to tell you the truth. And I'm going to show the thank you video for patrons and YouTube members. And then I'll see you at 10 a.m. for the open room. Take care, everyone. And some of you are saying to yourself, Andy, don't you usually do a little video to make us all feel good, to put a smile on our faces before we leave? Yeah, I actually do that. And I forgot to do that today. And I'm going to do that right now. Here it comes. How can you not feel good about that, everyone? How can you not feel good about a cat just hanging out with chicks all over its body? And of course, cops getting arrested too. How can you not feel good about that? I'm going to check out the chat one more time before signing off. All right. 10 o'clock. See you later.